The film begins in a dystopian 1985 Miami, where crime is at its peak. A group of local gangsters get into an argument with a cop for no apparent reason. When they are asked to identify themselves, one of them flips his skateboard under the police car and sends it flying, defying gravity as we know it. The gangsters then shoot at the car and make it explode, hence killing the officer inside. The city of Miami is swarming with gangsters who kill and kidnap whoever they want. It's almost as if GTA Vice City has been adapted into a movie. In a nearby arcade, two men lose a video game and call the machine stupid. In turn, the machine flashes a curse at them and starts protesting. Electric waves go down its body, suddenly making it come to life. As the geeks watch it in awe, it flips them off and blasts their heads. Following that, the machine exits the arcade and goes on a rampage, killing everyone and dismantling everything in its way. Several crashed cars and destroyed buildings later, a cop car comes to the scene and tries fighting it. However, he is easily overpowered by the mechanical beast. When it runs out of coins and starts dying, it steals some cash from a nearby parking meter and continues ambushing everyone on its way. At last, the cops announce a state of emergency, and the only solution is to call Kungfury. Kungfury is the best cop in the city, known for being the chosen one in the art of kung fu. Currently, he is with his girlfriend, enjoying some alone time. Upon getting the message about the manic machine, he immediately jumps off a building and lands right in his sports car. By the time he reaches the crime scene, the machine is flipping off a random dog on the road. Fury slams the car into it before sliding the machine onto the ground. The two then indulge in a brutal fight, which goes on for hours. At one point, they somehow end up hanging off of a flying helicopter. Fury is even slammed into a space satellite, but he bounces back and continues the onslaught. In the end, he finally emerges victorious, and the arcade machine is dismantled. Then, we are taken to the past, when Fury's journey to becoming the best cop began. One night, he and his partner are chasing down a mysterious kung fu master in the line of duty. They catch him as a team, proving that they are the best cop duo ever. However, what they don't know is that Kung Fu Man isn't a noob. He slices Fury's partner in half and kills him in an instant before preparing to do the same to him. But just then, Fury is hit by lightning and bitten by a cobra at the same time. He falls unconscious and goes to a Shaolin school in his dreams. For years, the school had been looking for the one person who is able to fight in a style called the Fury. The chosen one turned out to be Fury himself, which is how he got his name. Suddenly, he wakes up back in the alley with the Kung Fu master seconds away from killing him. This time, he slams the man to the wall with a single kick, proving that he is in fact the chosen one. Ultimately, the criminal falls into an oil tanker and blows up, while Fury does a false split nearby. After everything calms down, he goes to the wreckage and takes a piece of the criminal's cloth as a souvenir, promising to fight people like him to maintain peace in his city. In the following scene, Fury is called to the captain's office. Everyone is angry at him for destroying an entire block of housing to catch a single machine. To stop him from making the same mistake again, the captain assigns him with a partner, Triceracop, who happens to be a human with the head of a dinosaur. However, Fury flat out refuses to work with a partner after the last one died years ago. Hence, he resorts to quitting the job altogether. As he is about to leave the station, the captain gets a call from an unknown number. The person on the other end is Adolf Hitler, who is also a kung fu enthusiast. He threatens to put an end to everyone's lives and starts shooting the phone. It somehow works, and an array of bullets are showered throughout the station, killing the captain and several other cops. Fortunately, before any more harm is done, Fury returns and destroys the phone with some impeccable strikes. Following this, a flashback of Hitler's life shows us that he was a kung fu champion in the 1940s. He wanted to master the art of fury and be the chosen one. For that, he employed an entire army and called himself the Kung Führer. I'd have gone with Adolf Hitmonchan. However, he never managed to master the art and disappeared one day out of embarrassment. But it turns out that he somehow time traveled into the future to kill the chosen one, aka Fury. Now the only way to stop him is to return to the 1940s and kill him when his army is still rising. There is only one small problem. A time machine hasn't been invented yet in 1985. As Fury dwells on what he should do next, a guy with a small mustache mustache and a mullet haircut, steps forward and reveals himself as Hacker Man. He puts on his special glove, inputs some codes in his computer, and miraculously creates a time machine. Fury is eventually hacked back in time, but the machine malfunctions and he reaches further into the past than he wanted to. He realizes this when he sees an animal that had already been extinct, named the Laser Raptor. He is about to be lasered by the raptor when suddenly, someone blows it up. It turns out to be a girl with a large machine gun who is riding a giant wolf. She introduces herself as Barbariana and reveals that they are in the Viking Age. Soon, they are joined by another gun-wielding girl named Katana, and the three decide to go to a hill to talk. Upon being told how Fury got here, the girls are willing to help him. They do not have the power required to send him to the future, but they know just the right person for the task. So, Katana summons the God of Thunder, and an enormous Thor appears in front of them. He flexes his muscles and brags about his workout routine before asking them what is wrong. When asked if he can make the time rip in space, Thor moves his hammer and does so in seconds. Before he leaves, Barbariana asks Fury if he will ever return. The two sense chemistry between them and decide to keep in touch through phone calls. However, since this world doesn't have phones, Fury somehow creates one and advertises it to Barbariana. After listing out all the features that it provides, he wishes them farewell and walks into Nazi Germany. At first glance, the place doesn't look so great. Two Nazi soldiers are sitting by a tank talking about mustaches. The elder one compares the other guy's mustache to the pubes and makes him cry. After a minute-long argument, they look around and see the tank is missing. It turns out that Fury is holding it above their heads. Before they can run away, he smashes them and says, "Thank you." Oh god, who writes this guy's jokes? Me? At night, Hitler is giving a speech to a crowd of thousands of Nazis, who for some reason are wearing gas masks. He declares himself to be the greatest kungfury of all time, and asks the crowd if he is right. He only moves on to the next sentence once they affirm. Hitler also displays some awkward dance moves to wow the audience. Everything is going well until suddenly a loud bang is heard. A tank has come crashing through the ceiling, and seconds later, Fury jumps to the ground. He approaches a Nazi soldier and says, "I'm going to disarm you," before proceeding to literally tear his arm off. Then he plants it on a gun and creates helicopter wings by spinning it. The strange device allows him to fly over the crowd while shooting everyone in sight. The Führer finally orders his troops to get the intruder, but they are hardly a match to the one and only Kung Fury. Although he is surrounded by a sea of enemies, Fury fights them bravely without being touched even once. He decapitates some with only a kick and makes the others fly away into space. Hitler sees this and finally takes action. He brings out a machine gun which was hidden inside his podium and starts firing at the crowd randomly. Many of his own men are killed, but Fury is also shot several times. To everyone's surprise, he drops to the ground, and Hitler wins. With this, all the Nazis erupt into loud cheers and celebrate their victory, until some loud thunder startles them. The God of Thunder drops from the sky, making everyone aware of his magnificent presence. Simultaneously, he is followed by Hackerman, Barbariana, Katana, a Laser Raptor, and Fury's to-be police partner Triceracop. They collectively launch an attack on the Nazi army and kill them one after another. The dinosaur defeats half of the army with its laser eyes. Barbariana and Katana prove that they are no less than any fighter. Triceracop and Hackerman are driven by their love for Fury, but the one who kills the most people is Thor. After an intense battle, they abruptly stop and watch the last Nazi fall to the ground. Now the only enemy left is Hitler himself. Suddenly, Hackerman notices that Fury is nowhere to be seen. They begin searching for him and finally find his dead body on the ground. In the meantime, an enraged Führer releases his massive pet eagle, which is made of solid gold. It immediately goes to attack the group but is stopped by the Laser Raptor. Then we are taken into a virtual world where a cartoon-like Fury is wandering around. He meets a giant cobra who turns out to be a spirit animal. It is the same snake that bit Fury the night he gained eternal knowledge and became the Chosen One. The cobra reveals that this is heaven and that Fury has died on Earth. This means he will get to continue living in luxury and happiness for eternity. However, it is far from what Fury wants. He shows the cobra his ID and insists that he has to return to Earth because he is a police officer. When the cobra still refuses, Fury glows red in rage. He jumps at the snake to kick it, but right before the hit, the cobra disappears. After that, Fury is sucked back into the world, where the Eagle and the Laser Raptor are still quarreling. It turns out that Hackerman hacked heaven and downloaded him back to life. Nice. Fury thanks him before turning his attention to Hitler. At first, the Führer pretends to be fuming, but upon realizing that he cannot win the fight, he changes his stance. As the group of herpes watch in awe, what? Hitler pretends to be on their side. He compares the red background in the swastika to Fury's clothes and says that they are like brothers. However, before he can finish his sentence, Fury punches him in the manhood and sends him flying. He falls to the ground helpless, and finally, Thor crushes him with his hammer. Seconds before he is crushed, the eagle tries to save him, but he too suffers the same fate. When Thor takes the hammer off, nothing of Hitler and the eagle is left. This slightly surprises the group, but nonetheless, they believe that the enemies have been defeated and start celebrating. At last, everyone turns to Fury and inquires what next. He replies that he wants to return to the police station because he has a lot of paperwork to do. The corny joke surprisingly makes everyone burst out in laughter. The scene then cuts back to the opening scene where the arcade machine is rampaging through Miami. Shortly after, Fury arrives in his sports car and starts tussling. He fights the machine just like before and manages to kill it in the end. Somewhere else, in an alley, the eagle and the Fuhrer appear out of thin air. It is then revealed that the eagle was able to protect its master in the past by teleporting them in the nick of time. Now, they are ready to avenge the death of thousands of their comrades. In the last scene, Fury notices that the arcade machine has a swastika on its side. The look on his face says that he knows Hitler is back.